Two nations, both alike in dignity, in ancient Egypt, where we lay our scene. The one upon the next imposed slavery, with harsh oppression did their lives demean. The chief defenders of these two foes, the Pharaoh and the prophet, pledged their life. To them, the satyr's story owes its lasting theme, redemption's birth in strife. Oh, such a thriller this romance is, though dinner's waiting on the stove. Well, no, not really. But perchance, 'tis a tale that Shakespeare could improve. Let's do it then. A play's the best of bids to catch the full attention of the kids.
Friends, Romans, countrymen and women, lend me your ears. I could a tale unfold whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul. However, give it a chance, because everything finally works out. All's well that ends well. Here's the Pharaoh in his palace.
Counselor, I'm contemplating the children of Israel who arrived in Egypt long ago. Why are they here?
Mighty Pharaoh, their ancestor Joseph saved our people from a terrible famine. He was invited to bring his family here so that they too would not starve.
Methinks they still have a lean and hungry look. Also, they think too much. Such men are dangerous.
There sure are a lot of them.
True, the Israelite people are also too numerous for us. Let us deal shrewdly with them so that they may not increase.
But why, great Pharaoh, would you fear the Israelites? They seem peaceful enough.
Present fears are less than horrible imaging. In the event of war, they may join our enemies.
That seems a little paranoid if you ask me, sir.
Of all base passions, fear is the most accursed. Look, do you want a story or not?
Forgive me, your highness. So how would you like to deal shrewdly with them? Do you think we might tame them?
When I want a straight line, I'll ask for it. Meanwhile, sorry about that. Meanwhile, they didn't have phones in Egypt. Meanwhile, I lost my way. Meanwhile, my plan is to enslave all the Hebrews and have all the baby boys thrown into the Nile.
Into the Nile? That seems kind of harsh. Consider the litigation.
All right, that shall be the second thing we do.
What's the first thing we do?
Kill all the lawyers.
Come, come, foolish maid. Isn't your washing at an end?
It's this one gown, my royal mistress. This wine stain resists all my efforts. Out, out, damn spot.
Have you rubbed the stain against a river stone? Silly maid.
More like this.
With more gusto, my dim-witted one.
More like this.
Aye, there's the rub.
Noble mistress, do you see that basket drifting down the river?
Make haste to seize it, dullish girl, before it disappears among the reeds.
It's a baby. Bountiful mistress.
Quick, check under it garment and tell me if it's a beautiful girl.
Alas, mistress, it is a boy.
Right, you're murdered.
Look closer, stupid girl.
It is a Jewish boy, Royal Mistress. Where can his parents be? Should I ask around?
No point in that. I'll just keep him myself. I had rather adopt a child than beget it.
You'll need a nurse then. Why not ask that little girl over there to find you one?
If you think it's necessary.
Hath not a baby organs, senses, appetites? If you make this his 2 o'clock feeding, will he not scream to wake the mummies of your ancestors in their tombs?
That's a good point. Little girl, go find me a Hebrew woman to nurse this child. If you have a good sense of irony, find his own mother for the job.
Dear brother, I am fortune's fool. Unmute.
In what way, Moses?
I have slain an Egyptian who was beating a slave of our house.
We have slaves in our house?
No, our house, the house of Israel. I hid the taskmaster's body in the sand, but I fear I have done but greenly and hugger-mugger to inter him.
Woe to the hand that sheds this costly blood.
Aaron, come on, the guy was about to kill a helpless slave, one of our tribe.
That's different, but you had best flee or the Pharaoh will doom you to death. Or worse, the Pharaoh will doom me to death for not dooming you to death.
I need a drink. Where's the nearest apothecary? That's odd. Someone has lit a bush afire. Even odder, it does not appear to be burning up.
Moses.
I fear I am not in my perfect mind. I think it speaks.
I am thy father's spirit.
Dad? Want to have a catch?
Most foul.
Sorry about that. It's from hanging out all day with these sheep.
Not the sheep, Moses, the foul crimes done in my days of nature.
What foul crimes, Dad?
Look, forget the dad thing, okay? It was a metaphor.
So, what are you called?
Eye, asher eye. I shall be what I shall be.
Okay. What foul crimes?
The enslavement of my people, the Hebrews.
Well, you see, all occasions do inform against me. They spur my dull revenge.
It's not really about revenge, Moses. I want you to go to Pharaoh and make him let my people go.
Wait a minute. That's a job for a great leader. I can't possibly do it. I'm just an ordinary shepherd.
Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. You'd be in that last group.
To be a king stands not within the prospect of belief.
You're not destined to be a king, Moses. This isn't the Scottish play.
Oh God, that one might read the book of faith.
Well, after a few lessons with a bar mitzvah tutor, you can. But I can tell you this much now. You're going to be a great prophet of an immortal people.
I suppose it's better than spending the rest of my life with these sheep. So what should I do?
Go to Pharaoh and plead with him. Tell him, let my people go.
How am I supposed to do that?
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue.
Pharaoh won't listen to me. I am slow of speech. I am no orator as Brutus is.
Well, Brutus isn't available, so I'll send along your brother Aaron.
Okay then, here goes nothing.
Mighty Pharaoh, a shepherd and his brother are here to see you.
Pharaoh, hear me for my cause. Let the Israelites go, or God will bring a plague upon your house.
My house? Which house?
What do you mean, which house?
Pharaoh, you moron. You think I have but one house? Get real.
Yeah? Then a plague on both your houses. A plague on all your houses. Heck, 10 plagues on all your houses.
Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble, river of blood and sea of frogs.
Lice and pests from swamps and bogs.
Scourge of beasts and blighted crop.
Sorest boils all red on top.
Hail and locusts fill the skies.
Darkness comes. The firstborn dies. Double, double twilight. Fire burn and cauldron bubble.
This is the night that either makes me or foredoes me quite. You Hebrews, be gone. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Pharaoh, are you really freeing the slaves? Do you repent your treatment of the Hebrew people?
I have done 1,000 dreadful things as willingly as one would kill a fly. And nothing grieves me heartily indeed, but that I cannot do 10,000 more.
Do I understand you correctly?
If one good deed in all my life I did, I do repent it from my very soul.
Yay, I heard it right. Hey, Hebrews, wait up for me.
Aaron, I just heard the Pharaoh will let the slaves go.
Are you certain, Moses? Possibly he was only joking?
Pharaoh? Joking? Alas, poor Pharaoh, I know him, Aaron. Not exactly a fellow of infinite jest.
Then we'd better get moving. If it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly.
Wait a bit. There are preparations to be made.
We're ready. We've already sacrificed a lamb and put its blood on all the doorways.
Was one lamb enough?
Yes. Who would have thought the old lamb to have had so much blood in him? All right, everyone, get ready to move and don't even wait for the dough to rise.
By which route should we travel?
Well, there's the long route by land or the shorter route by sea, direct to Israel.
By sea or not by sea? That is the question.
Though the seas threaten, they are merciful. Okay, everyone, we're going to walk right through the Red Sea. Hey, Moses, will you just look at that? The sea is parting.
I have mixed feelings about that.
You do?
Parting is such sweet sorrow.
Too easy, Moses. Hey, the Egyptians are following us.
What dreadful noise of water in my ears.
The sea is closing in on the Egyptians. Friend or brother, he forfeits his own blood that spills another.
What's going on? Where's the Pharaoh?
Full fathom 5, the Pharaoh lies.
But look, we've arrived at the far side of the Red Sea in safety. We've made it.
We must give thanks to God.
But how? Where? We have no house of worship. We have no shul.
We don't need one. All the world's a shul.
And the men and women?
Merely prayers.
My goodness, what an incredible escape. I'm absolutely exhausted and hungry, of course. Someone passed me the matzah.
These events should be commemorated in the future. Every year, Let us sit upon the ground and tell sad stories of the death of kings.
I'd rather sit in a chair and lean on a pillow if it's all the same to you.
Moses, our people would do well to repeat the tale to their children in the future. This story shall the good man teach his son.
We'll make it an official celebration. He that shall live this day and see old age will yearly on the vigil feast by neighbors.
He will feast his neighbors? You mean his wife will feast his neighbors? Understand that you're talking about 2 days of cooking, that's an understatement, on top of a week of cleaning.
How many ages hence shall this our lofty scene be acted over in states unborn and accents yet unknown?
You mean the sad stories of the death of kings, right?
It's more than just a story. This is a lesson about living a holy life. Our God is a liberator. To make our existence sacred, we must always resist tyranny and also resist becoming tyrants ourselves. How can tyrants safely govern home?
And it's not exactly sad either. It teaches us to treasure what we have. May it be in our flowing cups freshly remembered. Let's all cry, peace, freedom, and liberty.
I prefer next year in Jerusalem.
The end. Thank you so much to the fantastic Makom Biyachad players. And as they say, not only next year in Jerusalem, next year, God willing, we'll do it again. So at this point in our program, first, I would like to thank Eileen Rubin, who is World Community Engagement Chair, for arranging for our next speaker, who is Tehila Rubin, Deputy Director of Masorti Olam and Masorti and Merkaz Olami. Tehila, we're really glad to have you with us today. I know you have a reading on Ukraine, and then you're going to fill us in on some information. So if you will unmute, I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Toby. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you to everyone here for inviting me and again, welcoming me into your group setting, in your group events. I think what I will do is I'll first start with a short update on our communities in Ukraine and out of Ukraine, and then I'll end by reading the prayer, if that's okay. So I assume that most of you already know the work of Masorti Olami in Ukraine and in the neighboring countries. We have, since the beginning of the war, which I think is just about 2 months ago, we have been working with our 5 communities in Ukraine to try and get everyone to safety. There are people that have fled to neighboring countries as well as Israel, and there are still plenty of people still in Ukraine. So I will focus today on our preparations that we've been doing ahead of Pesach. And I will start with who is left in Ukraine. So we have, in Western Ukraine, we have what we call our refugee camp. That's in Chernovitsi. And right now it's a refugee camp also for non-Masorti Jews, for non-Jews, for anyone basically that's coming through. And we've, together with our partners at the Schechter Institutes, we've rented out a restaurant for Pesach, and it seems that their Pesach Seder will be anywhere from 100 to 150 people, which is incredible. Most of those people are our community members. They're baking their own matzah. They were delivered kosher wine as well. We were able to get a delivery from Kiev, and they'll be cooking and preparing on their own. And Rabbi Irina Gritsevskia from Schechter is actually flying tomorrow to Chernovitsi, and she will be overseeing everything and the koshering of everything. So that will be amazing, and it will be a very different seder, also because they have curfew all cities in Ukraine have curfews, so it will be a little bit challenging to go late, but at least they will have a seder. And we have been helping. We also had printed English, Hebrew, Russian Haggadot to be sent there, and they'll be, that will probably be our biggest seder. And then in Kiev, there's going to be a small seder, as well as in Kharkiv and Lviv. We have people spread all over, different refugees basically that have left their home and gone to safer cities. So hopefully all of those cities will have some form of seder. And as I said, we've been helping support to make sure they have food and anything necessary. Outside of Ukraine, I will focus mostly on Berlin and Israel, since that's our largest group of refugees. We do have a few in Budapest, and our community in Budapest is trying to welcome a few refugees. It's just logistically, there's a few questions still remaining, but that will hopefully happen. In Berlin, we have about 35 refugees that are each, there's families and there's individuals that are hosted by different host families from the community. And there will be approximately 10 different seders. Most of the host families are going to have individual private seders as opposed to one big group seder. There's still some, believe it or not, there's still some issues with COVID and group gatherings there. So they have decided to have individual seders. And when the executive director of Masorti Olami, Rabbi Mauricio Bolter, and I went to Berlin about 2 weeks ago to visit the refugees, we brought with us already, in Israel, a month or two before holiday, you can get everything already in every store. So we bought with us seder plates and Haggadot, as I said, and other supplies that you would need for Pesach. And we also gifted them gifts that they could then give their host families, so they can, feel like they're giving back something as well. And we have been assisting with getting kosher food, which is not so simple. You would think it's simple in Berlin, but ready-made food is almost non-existent. Kosher ready-made food is almost non-existent in Berlin. So that means they have to cook, and we've been helping to kosher the kitchen in the synagogue. But it seems that there will be quite a few seders there as well, which is really nice to see, and I think gives the refugees there some sense of just comfort and familiarity. And then I will fly over to Israel. We have about, I think, over 20 refugees here. And again, when I say we have, I mean the Masorti movement, together with Schechter, we've helped those people come to Israel. There's obviously thousands more refugees here, and some of those refugees that we haven't specifically helped bring to Israel will also be joining the seders here in Israel. Rabbi Ruvain Stamoff and his wife Lena, who are the community leaders, the rabbi in Ukraine, they will be having a seder in Ashdod and welcoming just about 20 people as well. So we are helping organize. I have in my car about 25 Haggadot that we're going to drop off there, and just basically make sure that they have whatever they need to celebrate Pesach here as well, and again have some sort of sense of comfort. And it seems like during Pesach, probably Chol Hamoed, towards the end, Rabbi Ruvain will be traveling to Ukraine to go back basically to his communities and take care of certain urgent things there and help other people get out. Right now, there's in many of the cities, it's seen as a bit quieter, or there's a little bit of a lull going on. But unfortunately, the expectation is that something big is coming. I mean, obviously, we don't have any specific inside information, but we're preparing for anything that will come. And we're not, there's been talk even of people going back to Kiev already, because that's a city that's already starting to function normally again since the Russians withdrew. But as far as our support and our people, we're not recommending anyone go back, and we will continue to support everyone that we can. So yes, first of all, thank you guys. Thank all of our supporters for sharing the campaign that Schechter and Masorti Olami are running together. Without your support, everything that I just reported on would absolutely not be possible. So thank you guys. And as I said in, I think, the first meeting with Makom B'Yachad, I'm on the other side of this. I'm literally seeing how the financial support is saving lives and how essential it is. And while not everyone would see that having a Pesach Seder is saving lives, we do think it's crucial for them to, as I mentioned before, to feel something comforting and something familiar for them to be able to go on. And our biggest challenge will be what's next. What happens the day after. So yes, there's obviously I can be talking for 20 more minutes at least on the situation in Ukraine. If anyone has any specific questions, feel free to reach out. I will move on to read the prayer now, if that is okay with the organizers. It's a prayer by Rabbi Mark Greenspan. All who are hungry, a prayer for action, a prayer for Ukraine. On Passover, we open our door and invite all who are hungry, all who are in need, to join us in the celebration of Pesach. We know that we cannot joyfully remember our liberation from slavery if others are not free. An open door is an invitation for the oppressed to join us, but it is also a challenge to go out and see the suffering of others as Moses did. It is a call to answer modern day pharaohs who oppress and afflict others. This Passover, as we retell the story of our slavery and freedom, as we taste the bitterness of oppression and savor the sweetness of liberation, let us commit ourselves to the people of Ukraine. Though we lived in their land as strangers for hundreds of years, they were our neighbors. In their land, our culture flourished and grew. Their towns and cities became homes to Hasidic dynasties and yeshivot. We cannot turn away in anger. We cannot remain silent to injustice. We cannot be indifferent to suffering. This is not our way. Let us proclaim that we stand with the oppressed, that our doors and hearts are open to all who are in need. And I'm wishing you all from Jerusalem a healthy, safe, and enjoyable Pesach. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much, Tehila. We're so grateful for everything that you do. Truly, I think you must be one of the Lamed Bavniks out there. And thank you for reading that prayer for us. We're so happy that Eileen was able to have you be part of our celebration today. We have one more thing. I know it's really late in the day. It's an exceptionally long Makom B'Yachad, but this will leave you on the upside of things. Let's see, where's Amy? There you are. Okay, this is called Don't Sit on the Afikomen, to the tune of Glory, Glory, Hallelujah.
My dad at every Seder breaks a matzah piece in two and hides the afikomen, half a piece for me and you. Find it, hold it, ransom, for the Seder isn't through till the afikomen's gone.
Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen, or the meal will last all night.
One year daddy hid it neath the pillow on a chair. But just as I raced over, Aunt Sophia sat down there. She threw herself upon it, awful crunching filled the air, and the crumbs flew all around.
Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen, or the meal will last all night.
There were matzah crumbs all over. Oh, it was a messy sight. We swept up all the pieces, though it took us half the night. So if you want your Seder ending sooner than dawn's light, don't sit on the afikomen.
Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen, or the meal will last all night.
So we thank Debbie and Amy for helping to put this program together. We are a great team. I love working with you ladies. We thank Tahila Rubin for being with us, for Eileen Rubin, no relation, for making this happen. And we thank the 4 women, and we thank the Makom Biyachad players. And we wish you all a Zis and Pesach, whether you're with your families, whether you're Zooming, no matter how you're doing it. We hope you have a really good and special holiday. And keeping Audrey in our hearts, we all say,
Yeah.
Come back.
Now you
Now you're
hear?
here.
Here.
Happy
Safe travels,
February.